Good evening, everyone. It is now 6 p.m. I will call the Mayor and City Council work session for April 3rd to order. Agenda item number 2 is bid recommendation for Granville Gude Lakehouse Remodel. Department of Public Works Director Bill Bailey, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor, and City Council. The Department of Parks and Recreation is requesting approval to replace the roof, siding, and windows and doors at the Lakehouse located at Granville Gude Park. The Lakehouse was constructed in 1988 and is used as the department's boating and concession facility. The department also utilizes the building as a major rental facility. As part of the park, the facility hosts many special events such as Lakefest, outdoor concerts, movies, special events, and serves as the 4th of July committee's home base. Over the years, the roof and siding have exceeded their useful lifespan and each have been replaced once already. The proposed work will include replacing the shingles, gutters, windows, and doors. A 5-year warranty on materials and installation is provided by the contractor, and a 50-year manufacturer warranty on the roof for any manufacturer defect. The Department of Parks and Recreation secured 3 bids, which were as follows. Russo Construction Company, Spencersville, Maryland, came in at $68,850. Paramount Roofing and Construction of Pasadena, Maryland, came in at $66,700. And Armor Home Improvement of Woodbine, Maryland, came in at $64,769. Funding for this expenditure is provided for in the amended FY 2024 CIP, Major Facility Maintenance. It is recommended that the Mayor and City Council award the remodel of Granville Gude Lakehouse to Armor Home Improvement of Woodbine, Maryland, for a cost of $64,769 and provide for a contingency of 10% for an additional $6,476.90 for an overall total proposal of $71,245.90. I am available for any questions, Mr. President.
Thank you, Director. Are there any questions from the council? Director Bailey, I have one. So you said that the windows are the original windows from the 80s?
Yes, a couple of them have been replaced. The front door, the doors were replaced once, and one of the side panel windows have been replaced. But the other windows facing the lake and the top windows at the top of the arch windows, those are all originals.
It sounds like it's time for replacement then. Do you know if these will be energy efficient windows?
Absolutely. They're all Energy Star rated. They're low E and of course, energy efficient.
Thank you. That's all my questions. Other questions from the council? Hearing none, this bid recommendation will be placed on the April 8th Mayor and City Council meeting agenda at 6 p.m. Agenda item number 3, bid recommendation, purchase 70 police Toughbooks and in-car docking equipment. Department of Information and Technology Director James Cornwell Shield, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Kole, Mayor Sidnor, and council members. Before you is a bid recommendation for the purchase of 70 new Panasonic Toughbooks to outfit the sworn officers of the Laurel Police Department. These laptops are used in both the office and in the field for dispatch, report writing, court appearances, research, training, crime scene analytics, and a whole lot more. The current fleet of laptops includes 60 CF33 Toughbooks, also Panasonic's, which is a ruggedized tablet model that was deployed in 2019 for patrol officers, as well as 4 CF52 semi-rugged laptops and 6 non-ruggedized HP ProBook 440 laptops. Those 10 were deployed from 2020 to 2023 and are in use by the command staff and some of the detectives. Our goal is to standardize the model that's deployed across all sworn officers to facilitate their occasional moves between job roles and to make all of them more versatile in the execution of their duties. These new models are ruggedized laptops ready to withstand the hazards of field deployment. They'll handle drop off of a car as long as it doesn't get run over by too many other cars. The new FZ40 model returns to an attached keyboard design, so it's your standard clamshell laptop rather than the tablet model that we've got out right now. which will make it more useful in courtroom and training settings, and also not require the additional docking keyboards that we had to purchase for the current fleet. This model also comes equipped with integrated GPS, which will assist in the multiple platforms that utilize GPS for the police software. Cellular internet, which the current models have, and gloved touch-compatible touchscreens, which help in all sorts of weather. And those will all increase the ability to operate in any given setting. 10 of these units have upgraded specifications to accommodate the more data-heavy duties of the investigative unit, but all of them are a significant upgrade over the current model and will bring this fleet of laptops up to compatibility with Windows 11, which is going to replace Windows 10 at the end of next year. Windows 10 will lose support, so we do have to make some upgrade here. The purchase before you includes installation of the new docking stations for the cars, as well as service and maintenance warranty coverage for 5 years, asset monitoring and theft protection software that goes on the laptops for 5 years as well. The total cost of this purchase will be $508,490. The vendor is Frontline Mobile Tech of Jessup, Maryland, and we have worked previously with Frontline in previous procurements of Panasonic Toughbooks. All of the Toughbooks accessories and warranty pricing are in accordance with GSA Schedule 70, number 47Q TCA19D00MM, and you'll have to trust that I read that off correctly, although it is in your paperwork. Funding for this purchase was in the adopted FY 2024 capital improvement plan. There was the initial approved funding was for $500,000. The additional $8,490 will also be from a approved CIP project, but it is under a different heading for police vehicle technology, and that'll cover the mounts and installation. The Department of Information Technology is seeking the council's approval to proceed with sole source procurement for these 70 Toughbooks and related accessories, as well as warranties and installation services from Frontline Mobile Tech of Jessup, Maryland, for the total price of $508,490. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from the council?
I have a question for James.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
James, the computers that are non-exist, well, when you get the new ones in, do you have to give them to the company, or are you going to discard them, or can we use them?
The intent with those is to resell those to other jurisdictions who are in need. We can't give an exact number of what monetary recuperation we can make there, but the goal is to resell them to other jurisdictions who are in need.
Okay, what I was thinking of was with the Laurel app, you know, I use it quite frequently to report certain things in the city, usually safety things or things like that. And I always take a picture with my tablet and send it in and stuff. Is there a possibility that we could get you know, some frontline supervisors that are, or even some of the employees that have been here a long time that go out on a lot of these, like tree trimming and holes in the sidewalk and different tripping hazards and things like that, and I take them? Is it possible to get them to enhance our Laurel app website, have a frontline supervisor, once they get the repairs done and once they have completed what the citizen has put in, to get them to take a picture of it and include it with the response, other than just getting it, it's been completed or whatever like that. And then at least people could see, and I think it would make it more personable if we could get them to them. And I know them Toughbooks are, they last a lot, and they get abused and everything else. I know as far as the police officers and things like that, but you know, get them on that front line and maybe they'll be valuable to at least maybe enhance our Laurel app and get those pictures back to the people who have so diligently reported.
So I greatly appreciate that question, because that is something that we are attempting to, a need that we are attempting to address. We have a separate project for iPads that are going out to various of our Parks and Recreation and Department of Public Works team leads. And those will be cellular capable. So they will be, they'll be able to take pictures of those completed tickets and post those results to the app. The Toughbooks aren't the best option for that particular deployment, in part because they're Windows-based, and the Windows that they are running will be end of life in just under 2 years. The iPads are much more versatile in that particular way. But we do have on the FY24 budget, we have 8 additional iPads that are being deployed to Parks and Rec for their field crews to be able to interact with the app and document their results.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Director and Council Member. Any other questions from the council members?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Go ahead,
James.
Mr. Mills.
So James, what type of training do the officers receive when it comes to the new knowledge of these Toughbooks?
So for the most part, the Toughbooks are very similar to the previous round of Toughbooks in that they are a laptop. They run the same software that they're currently running, the same fleet of software that they're used to. But they do receive significant training on that software, as well as they'll be provided with significant training, at least an hour or so of training on the use of the new laptop and how it docks into their car, how they need to care for it, where they need to take it for maintenance, all of that.
So I know we have a AI training coming up, and I was just wondering, are you implementing that technology into this new Microsoft 10?
So we have a
and will it benefit us?
we have an AI implementation plan that we are working on. It would not directly benefit for the direct integration into Windows 11. The Copilot integration there would not really, I don't see much of a use case in this particular instance, in part because it would not have direct access into any of the police data. However, we are, as a city, working on a pilot program for Microsoft Copilot, which does not become available to government Microsoft tenants until this summer. But we are working on policies and an implementation plan for AI in general city business.
And my last question: do these Toughbooks have like technology like the iPhone, the Siri, to make it like pretty quick to work with, that you can like speak and request?
So they have built-in voice recognition, as well as the standard Windows voice assistant, so they can do dictation into any of the various Windows apps that support it, as well as simple commands.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. Cornwell, I do have a question.
Go ahead,
I'm
Councilwoman.
sorry, Ms. Johnson, did you want to go?
You can go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Bliss.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask, with the upgrade of the equipment, are we also upgrading our security systems that are on the laptops? I know that, sometimes there's issues with theft, et cetera. I just wondered if that was an option.
So we are enrolling those in our mobile device management platform, which does allow, in the case of theft, the laptop to be wiped. We do have the standard multi-factor authentication and standard login protections that we have across city devices there as well. So we do have a little bit of extra software that is going to be tied in with these new laptops that is specifically for this deployment, but for the most part, it's our standard deployment, which meets all of the state's demands, at least.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, you had a question?
Yes, just one quick question. The 70 books, is that enough for every car, or are there extras, or will someone be lacking?
So 70 will cover all of the sworn officers that are currently budgeted. And right now we have a fleet of 60 deployed, with about 7 or 8 that are currently on the shelf, ready for replacement if needed. That's in part because we've deployed other models in their place, or because an officer is in academy and doesn't have their laptop yet, or is otherwise on leave and not using their laptop. But yes, 70 covers the entire sworn segment of the police department.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any final questions from the council on this bid recommendation?
I had one more question, I'm sorry. Mr. Cornwell, when do you anticipate that we will need another round of upgrades and or replacements? I know this probably is like a first step, just understanding when we would need to purchase like this again.
Absolutely. This is generally going to be an approximate 5-year purchase plan. It's expected that this technology will be ready for replacement, we'll say, in about 5 years.
Thank you, that's all.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I have one other question.
Yes, Mr. Mills.
Excuse me. Is it possible to upgrade that what we have already instead of making this purchase?
It is not. That hardware does not support the upcoming version of Windows, and it can't be. It's not a matter of replacing a single component. We'd have to gut it.
Got to do it. All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. With no further questions on this bid recommendation, it will be placed on the agenda for April 8th, Mayor and City Council meeting. Agenda item number 4, resolution number 2-2024, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, creating a multicultural advisory committee and providing effective date. Mayor Sidnor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. As you know, that we implemented a Multicultural Day as a celebration on one of our city events. And so we felt it was necessary to go ahead and create a committee to organize that Multicultural Day, because we have a very diverse community. And we felt instead of having each ethnic group to have a holiday, even though we're not going to dismiss that, we feel it's better to bring them all together. And we create this committee, as you see in this ordinance that we have here before you. So I'm not going to go over the whole ordinance in detail, but basically, like any other committee, it has membership. We have seven residents, city business owner, a city staff person there, and they just organize this committee for we can support our different ethnicity in our community. I think it's something very important our community need, and it make the Multicultural Day very important, because we be working on this committee all year round, and then when that day comes, we can highlight the different we have in our community. So that's all I have to say on this ordinance right here. So I've taken any questions from the council there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions from the council on this resolution?
I do have a question. Mayor Sidnor, will this committee, well, two things. One, will this committee, will it only hone in on the Multicultural Day, or will we still have Black History Month? Will we still have Juneteenth? Will we still have any others that we celebrate, or will we be taking those away and only focusing on multicultural?
Now, you still have those same committees. Yeah, Black History, Juneteenth, this is just something to encompass everybody. That, we have a small Asian population community, and if they don't want to have something, a whole day or something, they can combine this Multicultural Day. That's the whole purpose of it. We can still, Juneteenth is a holiday that, a federal holiday now, city holiday, something that we implemented, 3 years ago. So that holiday is not going to change. Black History Month stuff's not going to change. Women History, something we implement this year, is not going to change. It's just that highlight other ethnicity we have in our community. So we don't want to have something like every month, kind of, sort of, but we can, not necessarily got to be a big parade or or close the city down, a couple of parks, something like that. It's just that, we can highlight it through education and awareness through our social media as well. But then the Multicultural Day, we can bring it all together. We can bring the music together. We can bring the food together. We can bring the education together. It'd be a day highlighted on that day of the year that we can bring everything together. And I think that's important as well for the city. And it's just one big community getting together, learning about each other. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to members joining this committee, and looking for the council members to actually promote it just as much as we try and promote it. So.
Thank you. So just to confirm, we'll still have the Black History Month events. We'll still have the Multicultural Day event. We'll still have the Women History event, right?
Yes, ma'am. And,
Okay.
we had it that you did a great job, and we're looking for you to do a great job in Black History Month next year. And same thing with Councilman Johnson with the Women History Month. You'll still be able to do those things as well. So no, we're not taking anything away from that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for confirming. The second thing that I have, I would like to recommend that I know on page, I believe it's 7, that we have the vice chairperson that would be elected by the committee, and just the members as well. I would recommend something that I've done with the EAC. I wrote a vice chairperson job description or role description, so people understand what goes with that role since this committee is new. And I've also provided the expectations for the committee members. So I'd recommend that this also be included since new people will be joining, if you would like to consider that.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it though, but we wanted to make members come in the community that want to volunteer that time, regular citizens that we don't want to make it difficult for them to go through like a job interview for this type of committee. There are some committees that we do want to interview people with special skills, but this year we want to make it fun and just people who have a heart and desire to serve their community. One like that. That's hopefully that the volunteers do come on board, and then we can monitor them if they're not participating in the meetings and engaging things of nature when it's time to renew their reappoint them. Those are the things that we're taking consideration though. But I would take in consideration, Councilman Clark, but I don't want to make it so difficult for people who don't want to join a committee, things of that nature. That makes sense.
Yeah, just to clarify, so I wrote the role for the vice chairperson because I was getting questions often on what that entails and what they should do. It's just voted in by their other members. So just letting you know that some people do have that question sometimes, what they're supposed to do as a vice chairperson.
Yeah, I mean, the vice chair will stand in when the chair is not there, so pretty much that's what the vice chair is. Anytime that you're the vice of something, you're the acting person, that chair is not there, you're in charge of the meeting, you run the meeting. So, but I would take in consideration what you're saying, Councilman Clark, and once again, that I don't want to make it so difficult that people literally doing a job interview to serve their community.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Other questions from the council on resolution number 2-2024?
I have a question. Not really, I guess I don't know how to phrase it or how to word it. So because we have the different committees like Black History, Juneteenth, Multicultural, is it a way that they can come together at some point and work together so that all voices are heard?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. We don't have a Black History Committee. We just have an event that we started, so I don't think we need a Black History Committee. I think it's something Black History might have been around since Kyle Whitson started it, so it's something we celebrate a whole month of February history. So we don't have a committee designated for that. We have a committee for the Juneteenth. That's a committee we started for that. But yes, to answer your question, Councilman Johnson, yes, I will. Hopefully that Multicultural Committee would be involved in Black History Month, would be involved in Asian Pacific Month, be involved in all these committees we have, that holidays we have to address our diversity in our city. They don't have to wait until that month. They can say, what, let's start preparing for this. So yeah, definitely that. Yes. So yes, that's your question.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Additional questions?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Mr.
So like, what would be a date for this type of event?
We scheduled it in September. We scheduled it last year in August. We figured out it was too hot to have the Multicultural Day in August, so we pushed it back to September because it's not so hot there. Me personally, I think it should be in October, but our staff think that we should have it in September. That it's not that hot in September. But yeah, it's gonna be hopefully be like our special day. And the first year, last year was our first year within August. It was super hot. we realized that, so we pushed it back in September, and hopefully this committee would get online before September, you know, and start working and organize it. And then when September comes for the holiday, that day, that Saturday, that we can have the whole city, all this diversity we have in this city, we can have everybody come out there, the music, the food, you know, you're talking about, I know you guys like talk about food trucks, something like that, or someone can come out with a food truck, or that ethnicity group can bring out the food they like, and, you know, maybe they want to share with the community, or they might want to get some type of, you know, sell it, I don't know. But that's the whole idea, to bring this city together, be like flags for your country, and the music, the food, the dance, the custom, the education. And the committee gonna put that together. You know, it could be, you know, educational thing. But I hope it's both. Hope it's educational, it's fun, it's food tasting, and it's, you know, talking about the different things. And so we are a very diverse community. And like you say, we say all the time, the more we know about each other, learn about one another, the better off we'll be as human beings, the better off we can serve our community. Things that, you know, we don't know each other, we don't talk to each other that much, and just share something. Knowledge is power, and, you know, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to the committee, and I hope a lot of people join. And once again, let me put this out there while we're talking. If you don't get selected as a member of the committee, you still can participate in all committees in the city. You just can't be a voting member. So any committee we have in the city, regardless, you can still be a participant in it. You just can't be a voting member. You can attend the meetings, you can have input when the chair allowed, open forum, stuff like that. But they be taking care of the business of that committee first. For any member of the city, once again, let me make that loud and clear. Just because you're not a member of a committee, you still can join and participate in any committee we have in this city. You got a heart to serve. Just unfortunately, sometimes we can't have everybody on the committee. This thing get a lot of questions, man.
No, not a question. The date for Councilman Mills is the September 14th.
I don't have the exact date by heart. Director Bailey, do you have the date the Multicultural Day?
I believe Miss Johnson has it.
Oh, she has. Oh, okay. I wasn't.
Yeah,
My mind is a lot going on right now.
September
date, Ms. Johnson?
14th.
I'm sorry, Dr. Bailey.
September 14th.
Okay. And what time is it? The time, you got the time? We scheduled time yet?
I don't recall. I want to say it was in the afternoon, maybe 1
12
4.
to 3. 12 to 3.
About 3, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Johnson on that, she might be the chair.
I don't know about that.
Great.
I think I might recruit Ms. Johnson.
Any further questions on resolution before we move on? With no further questions, resolution number 2-2024 will be placed on the Mayor and City Council meeting agenda for March 8th at 6 p.m. Agenda item number 5, ordinance number 2024, text amendment number 266, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, to amend the Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision Regulations, to update the use tables in commercial, industrial, and MXT zones, and to update the forest conservation article, to update the signs section, and to update the definition section. Director Love, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and City Council members. For you is Ordinance 2024 as required by the City of Laurel Code, providing legislation to amend the Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, to update the definition section, the commercial use table, the industrial use table, the MXT use table, the forest conservation article, and the sign section. This is the 9th phase of the code update. The majority of the proposed changes are to ensure that all uses included in the use tables also have a corresponding definition. We'll also eliminate some contradicting uses and definitions. The key change will be tree legislation that will dictate the number of trees required to replace those removed trees during afforestation reforestation period after retention efforts have been exhausted. An example would be if a tree that has a diameter in inches at breast height of more than 24 inches is removed. This will require the replacement of this tree with 3 trees of 2.5-inch diameter in inches at breast height. This change is being proposed as replacing a large tree with another large tree really is not feasible, and this will also ensure adequate planting coverage. Overall, there were 8 sections amended in this update. Thank you, and I'm here for questions.
Thank you, Director Love. Are there questions from the council? Director Love, I do have a couple on the tree section. I know
Mhm.
that was one that you and I had spoke about earlier. A lot of this was similar to what other municipalities have put in place, where, as you said, they are using this as a way to make sure there are larger trees being put back in addition to the other efforts. This is not the only requirements. This is just for that certain number of trees, correct?
Yes.
So I did see a couple things that I would like to propose that we change, if it's okay with the council. The first one is under the subsection A, where it's forest creation in accordance with the forest conservation plan. We had struck that out. I think we
Mhm.
need to leave that because the forest conservation plan is pretty important.
Yep.
And then my other proposed amendment would be where it used to be the small undercased I transplant of nursery stock 2.5 inches or more. Make that what is now A, the tree replacement as described in the chart below. Kind of indent that over, just
Okay.
replace that section.
Sure.
And then my final, well, I guess I have two more. One is the replacement of champion trees. I think there are like 4 sections or 5 sections that already cover champion trees. Does that line need to be there?
We like to remind people, but we can take that one out.
I just don't want to make it confusing or redundant in the
Yeah.
code where there's, well, I followed it over here, but then there's a whole other section that, so
Yeah.
I want to make that clear.
Yeah, no problem.
And then the final one is at the very bottom of that section 20-41.9. It says replacement trees shall be native or non-invasive. Are these trees only applying to forest conservation area, or is this also street trees? I thought street trees were covered in the landscape code elsewhere in the.
They're located elsewhere. This is just talking about with forest conservation.
So I think from a conservation standpoint, you wouldn't be planting ornamental trees in a forest. If we're trying to conserve a forest, I think we should remove the non-native and put that they should be native straight species trees. We don't want to be putting a specialized tree that might not be able to reproduce. We want to make sure that we're putting native straight species trees in there. So I'd like to remove that section.
Okay, so just because you want, I'll just say replacement trees shall be native straight species and have a mature canopy spread equivalent to or greater than the trees removed. You're fine
I
with
think
that?
that would work well. Those would be
Okay.
my proposed amendments for the council. I don't know how the rest feel.
Okay, and I can have those changes back to everybody fairly quickly.
Is there a consensus from the council to move forward with those changes? Or would you like to review it before it goes to the next council meeting?
Hey, Councilman Cole, President Coles, I'm sorry, I had to step away from my desk. I know you was talking about, you're the subject matter expert when it comes to landscape, and that's what you do professionally for a living. So, can you just, quick, about the trees you was talking about, that it's different from what we have in our, ordinance?
So what we have now, as Director Love pointed out, doesn't specify the number of large size trees. You can still plant smaller trees to replace the canopy coverage, but it doesn't dictate how many large trees. So if there is an area that is cleared that has mature trees and somebody goes in and plants just 3-gallon trees that are only 4 foot tall, you don't have a tree canopy anymore. You have a meadow that tree might be damaged by deer or mowed down. What this does and what other municipalities have done with a very similar section of this is you can still plant those smaller trees because they're more economical and they are valuable to the landscape. This makes sure that trees of a larger size, so a 2.5-inch tree, depending on the variety, is about 12 to 14 feet tall. So this makes sure you're putting back trees that are really making an impact immediately, because a songbird is not going to nest in a 3-foot tree. They're going to nest in a taller tree. So
Okay.
this just puts minimum requirements that they would need in their plan.
I recommend what President Cole's talking about, Director Love, taking consideration what he's saying. You know, he's a subject matter expert, like you guys are subject matter experts in your field. That's a good thing about some city council members and mayors. We have expertise in certain things, you know, but we do rely on staff to make those expert decisions. But if we can add to that, I think you should take in Councilmember President Cole's recommendation to make that happen.
Absolutely.
this ordinance is also more than just trees, so there's a lot of other exciting things in here. Does the council have any other questions on the updates of definitions or use codes? All right. Director Love, I'll look forward to those amendments be sent over to the council. With consensus of council, we will move this for first public hearing at the Marion City Council meeting on April 8th. Agenda item number 6, ordinance number 2025, an ordinance of the Marion City Council of Laurel, Maryland, repealing and reenacting with amendments Chapter 18, Building and Building Regulations of the Laurel City Code, Article 1 through 13, renumbering sections and providing an effective date. Again, Director Love, you have the floor. Or, sorry, this may be Director Selby.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Good
sorry about
evening,
that,
Mayor.
Director.
That's all
Go
right.
ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Sidnor, President Kole, and members of the council. Maryland Local Government Code annotated 5-211 legislative authority building regulation authorizes the city of Laurel to adopt regulations regarding the erection of buildings and signs in the municipality, including a building code and requirements for building permits. The proposed ordinance will repeal and reenact Chapter 18 of the City Code, adopting the 2021 International Building Code and Property Maintenance Code, as well as the 2020 National Electrical Code, with amendments as required for the state of Maryland. There were no significant amendments made, just the typical amendments that we normally include when we adopt an updated building and electrical code. And that's it, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Are there any questions from the council? Well, Director, it appears there are no questions from the council. I think you did a good job explaining this. I know I'm going to have a few more. If there are questions from the council, you can still email these to the administration to be forwarded to Director Selby for updates. If there's consensus from the council, ordinance number 2025 will be placed on the agenda for the Marion City Council meeting on April 8th for first public hearing. With no further business to come before the Marion City Council work session, agenda item number 7 is adjournment. I will not be present at the meeting on April 8th. Chairwoman or President Pro Tem, Councilwoman Clark, will be running that meeting as I will be out of the country on vacation. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.